Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liaoming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. And homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dubden Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today. Padma Kumara of the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds. Sumo, Tanzan Katso, Dubden City. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
Hola amigo. Te quiero mucho. Skoin. Ichiwa. Kimochi. Jumi. Yabi. Brin brin. Konnichiwa. 现在通知大家
First, I would like to announce for next Sunday, which is March 13th at 3 p.m. There will be Amoga Pasa Homa fire offering ceremony. Amoga Pasa has been known to all of you. Why is he called the Amoga, which means non-empty? It means that whatever you ask for will return non-empty. So all along, all the time, there are many. This deity has the most primary supplicants. So next Sunday, March 13th, there would be the Amogapasa Homa fire offering ceremony. So we don't have question and answer today? So we do the Vajra Sutra directly? Just now we had the ritual of lighting the lamps.
就是代表着一种光明，也是一种
consider the lamps to represent clear light radiance and good wishes,
这个祈祷
and also a kind of
是一种光
prayers,
明，也是一种祝
a
福。
kind of clear light radiance, a kind of good wishes, and a kind of prayers.
供佛菩萨
And when we offer to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we also need to lit
这个
the
点的灯
lamp.
只是表外面上的形式，
And that's only
就是点的灯
superficial or outward appearance. But actually, what we want to light is
外
the
面的这个
lamp of our
外
heart,
面的灯，
which is more important than the outward light or lamp.
也就是把自己的心中的念头
Which
都是
means
属于光明的，都是属于光
that
明
your thoughts,
啊，光明的
the
灯
inner state of your mind is bright and radiant.
来自于自己的心，
So our radiance comes from
所
our
以
own
十六世
mind
大
or
宝
heart. Therefore, His Holiness the 16th Karmapa,
芝加哥，他要迁化的时候，
before he
讲了一句话：
entered into
只要自己的心中
Parinirvana
有光明，
in Chicago, he said that as long as you have clear light radiance inside your heart,
在迁
that
化
is
的时候
enough.，
就是你心中
Before he was passing away or
迁化
leaving the
就会到
world,
光明的境界里面去。
that if you have a light inside your heart or mind, then after your passing, you would go to that clear light radiance.
是除气的，
So the meaning of lighting the lamps is to eradicate darkness so that you have light inside your hearts.
啊，这是非常重要的。
So this is very
我
important.
们本身的习性，
For example, our habitual
不好的
tendencies,
习性，
the bad habitual
全部要
tendencies
清除干净。
have
我们要清除
to
干
be
净，
completely
必须要
eradicated.
有光明。
And in order to
才能够清除
completely eradicate the darkness, you need to have light.
点灯最重要的。像我
So
们的
that is the
习
most
性啊
important thing about lighting the lamps. Like our habitual tendencies, our thoughts, our conduct and behavior,
啊，就是需要有光明，
all need the
就是非
bright
常
light.
重要，就是像那个，
This is very important.
我记得好像紫禁城
I
北京的
think,
这
as I
个
remember,
啊，
the Forbidden City in Beijing,
然后呢，上面不是有一个匾嘛？
there was a board
那个匾写的那四个
on
字是
top
哪四个字？
and with
正大光明，
characters written on it, which
就
means
是这个意思。
it's a bright light and radiance.
大宝法王在
which actually also mean just and honorable,
在场的弟子讲
and
最
upright.
后一句话，
So the last statement that His Holiness the 16th Karmapa made before his passing
你自己
was
光明，
maintain your own clear light or bright radiance inside your own heart, mind.
这就是点灯本身最大的
And that is the greatest meaning of lighting the lamps.
这个也不是笑话哈，因为我以前学英文是这样子学。
This is not a joke. This is how I learn English.
英文的这个脸。
This is hard to translate into English. Face.
那时候学英文就把它注音注成回始。
And I would note it using Chinese characters, and this is not meaningless in English.
就是靠这个发音啊，就像用国语注音这个肥始。那么头发呢，就注明是 hair。 hair 是黑，黑儿啊，黑儿。对，你如果嫁给黑人，那就变成生了一个黑儿，那就是头发，头发是黑色黑人。眼睛呢，很好记。 就是常常你们常念爱，爱，就是眼睛嘛，啊，耳朵呢很好记，一个耳朵，ear，啊，ear，就是一个耳朵就是 ear， 嘴巴呢经常讲错话。 说的是 mouse， 冒感冒的冒，湿是湿气的湿，mouse， 牙齿呢，经常是会蛀牙，然后又要牙套来代替，所以叫做 teeth。 teeth， 我以前学英文也是这样子。
That's how I learn my English.
很多的英文字
And
用中文
noted the pronunciation using some Chinese
有人
characters.
抢走我的这一本书，很笑。
And someone
那香蕉呢？书名是白奶奶。
And how about banana?
白奶奶
Noted it in Chinese as
因为大部分来讲，那个
it's easy to remember.
这个实在是出家人不应该讲。大部分的女生的胸部都是白色的，白奶奶，其实是 banana 啊
Banana.
那时候睡觉，我就记成死在瓶子里。
And
注明
sleeping.
死在瓶子里，就是 sleeping。睡觉就是 sleeping， 死在瓶子里。还有像美国那个很难记的一个都市，费城。
Like Philadelphia, it's very difficult to remember.
斐理达菲亚。
But once noted it with some Chinese
斐理
characters
达菲亚。
that has certain meaning, it's easy to remember.
不过也不错，也不错。现在也有人教这样子的英文，像美
Not
人
bad. Now people teach
家讲
English this way too. A mermaid.
mermaid， 就说美人鱼很美啊，用手去摸 a mermaid. 是这样子的英文。
Such English.
你一个笑话。
Learning English that way.
老公，我大二的时候，我的男生想找我吃饭，你介意吗？
The boy who courted me in sophomore in college would like to have dinner with me.
找我吃饭，你介意吗？
Do you mind?
老公问。
And the husband asked,
你当时
How much did you weigh then?
老婆回答。
And the wife replied, 48 kilograms. 48 kilos. And then the husband looked at the wife up and down and said, Go ahead, so that he can completely forget about you and just continue on.
事实上，这是很现实的现象。
That's a reality.
今天是几号？
What day is today?
6号。
The 6th.
这个笑话是3月4号的笑话。
This is a joke from March
今天
4th.
是3月4号，这天是个好日子。
Today is March 4th, which is the 3rd month and the 4th day. Yeah, this is also only meaningful in Chinese.
落势，可以颠三倒四，可以勾三塔四，还可以不三不四，更可以朝三暮四。一年也就这么一天可以乱来。
Use all the different idioms that use 3 and 4.
山盟海誓，今天已经6号了。哎，3月4号应该讲，在昨天也不是3月4号。
I should have told the joke on March 4th. But yesterday was March 5th too. So.
昨晚，很多人大家一起去唱歌。
Last night, many people went to the KTV
突然停电
to sing
本来
the
想
karaoke.
开溜就不用付钱，
And then, as I was about to sing,
没有到位。
there was a power outage, and I was thinking maybe I should just get off, and then I don't have to pay. And I was still hesitating, and the power got back.
天哪，就只剩下我一个人。
And wow, I'm the only one left.
所有人都开溜。
Everybody is left.
他要付钱。
So he had to pay.
下雨天的时候
On a rainy day,
很适合睡觉。
that rainy days are good for sleeping. I love to sleep listening to the
晴
rain.
的时候晴天
And on a sunny day, sunny days are good for outings.
到郊外去踏青。阴天的时
To
候
go out.
天气阴阴的
And cloudy days
发呆
are good for daydreaming.
就想了半天，竟然没有一天是适合上班的。
But there are no days that's good for working.
笑。和几个朋友因为喝酒喝多了，看日本就是这样子。和几个朋友喝酒喝多了，
Too much with a few friends, and usually in Japan,
尿急
as they walked through a small alley, and they had to urinate. So nobody's around, so he just unzipped and did it. And there's a young lady walking by, and I thought it's pretty dark, so she wouldn't be able to see. But who knows that those silly friends turn on the light on the cell phone and then shine it on me and said that I don't want you to wet your pants. That's how it is in Japan. One time I had a tour in Japan, and we were on a tour bus, and then the bus all of a sudden stopped in the middle of the road. I mean, on the side. And everybody look around, what's going on? It turned out the driver had to urinate and just did it on the side of the road with everybody watching. And one time at the bar in Japan, I was drinking with some friends, and after we are done, Japanese, it's so normal for Japanese to drink. Most of them would drink after work, a huge group. And afterwards, they ran to the pedestrian bridge, and then they lined up, and like the overpass, like the overpass, and they all peed. So, and their cars underneath. So the Taiwanese refer to the Japanese. They're very polite. They always bow and bow and bow. But they don't feel anything wrong with being naked. Like smoking, they just throw the cigarette butts everywhere. That's how it was. I don't know about now. They don't regard the cigarette butts as garbage. And after drinking, and nearby pubs, and they drink sake, and they would just urinate everywhere on the streets, and they have such a habit. Now we'll talk about the Vajra Sutra. The Buddha asked Subhuti again. He still used the Ganges River as an analogy. Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Buddha say that all the sand in the Ganges River is sand? Yes, Lord Honored One, the Tathagata says that it is sand. Subhuti, what do you think? Should there be as many Ganges rivers as there are grains of sand in the Sat River, and there are as many Buddha walls in each of those grains? Would the number of those walls be numerous? Subhuti replied, very numerous indeed, Lord Honored One. Many people do not understand this phrase. And Sakyamuni Buddha loves to use this analogy. Is the number of the grains of sand in Ganges River a lot? Yeah, it's a lot, countless, uncountable. But Subhuti, what do you think? Does the Buddha say that all the sand in the Ganges River is sand? Yes. The Tathagata says that it is sand. And then, Subhuti, what do you think? Should there be as many Ganges River as there are grains of sand in Sat River? Many people cannot explain this phrase. Sakyamuni Buddha said, if each grain of sand of the Ganges River is also another Ganges River. Have you read this? So, what it means here, if each grain of sand of the original Ganges River is also another river, and there are as many Buddha worlds in each of those grains, would the number of those worlds be innumerable? Of course, very, very many. Like the sand of one Ganges River is already countless, and moreover, if each grain of sand is another Ganges River, and the worlds, so if the Buddha worlds are as many as those grains of sand, that would be infinite. The Buddha told Subhuti, the myriad minds of sentient beings in all these worlds are known by the Tathagata. Why? But inside the Buddha world, or inside the Pure Land, all the sentient beings in those worlds, any minds generated by those beings would be known by the Buddha. Why? Rationally or strictly speaking, the Buddha would not know. So, if each grain of sand of Ganges River is another river, and then each grain of sand is a world, and then all the sentient beings there, so many sand, so many grains of sand, so many Buddha worlds, and so many sentient beings, and all their minds are known by the Buddha? How come? Why? I know too. I know too now. The myriad minds of sentient beings in all those worlds are known by the Tathagata. Why? Why would the Tathagata know? And at this time, the Tathagata says, any mind is not a mind. all the minds, all the thoughts
都不是想念，因为都不是想念，
are not
非
thoughts.
心就是心。
And because they are not thoughts, because the minds are not minds, that's why it's called a mind.
悉菩提呀，过去的心不可得，现在心不可得，
Therefore, Subhuti, the mind of the past is unattainable, the mind of the present is unattainable, and the mind of the future is also unattainable. Of course, I also know.
像恒河沙的恒河的沙，就已经让你数不清。就算一粒沙，
If the minds of sentient beings are like the grains of sand of Ganges River, that's already countless. How would you know about their
一个
minds?
心，一个沙，又等于一个恒河。那有多少恒河沙啊？
So, if one grain of sand is another Ganges River,
就是
and
一个恒
then
河的沙已经没办法，
its grain of sand is a
还有一
world,
粒沙
and
是等于一个恒河。
and all sentient beings, that's even more
那么所有的恒河沙数
countless, infinite.
又等于是一个佛国，佛国当中的一个众生，那个是那个
And its grain of sand is the same as a Buddha world, and then in it there are countless sentient beings. There's so many
为什
minds,
么呢？
so countless number of minds, but the Tathagata know them all. Why? And he said the reason.
悉菩提，过去心不可得，现在心不可得。
Subhuti, the mind of the past is unattainable, the mind of the present is unattainable, and the mind of the future is also unattainable. This is the reason why.
最重要的一句话。
And also the most important statement in the Heart Sutra, as I stated last night,
三个字，
unattainable, nothing to gain.
就像我们娑婆世界好了，我们讲娑婆世界。
Let's talk about the Saha
现
world.
在一共有多少人？这个地球上一共有多少人？
On earth, how many people are there?
70亿。好，那么佛知道
7
这
billion?
个70亿人，他的心在想什么？为什么会知道？这70亿人的
And the
心在
Buddha
想什么？
knows what
佛
the
为
minds of these people are thinking
答
about.
案是在这里了。
And why?
过去
How
心不
come?
可得，
The answer is because the mind of the past is unattainable, the mind of the present is unattainable, and the mind of the future is also
也就是这
unattainable.
样子讲。你们所想的，
We can
每一
also
个人
say,
心中所想的，
so whatever you think in your
你
mind
们都得不到。
cannot be gained. You cannot gain whatever you think about.
众生的心，因为没有一个人可以得到。
So the Tathagata knows the minds of
不
sentient
用讲
beings
了，
because
不用想，
nobody
反正你们
will ever
你
get
们大家都去想吧。 想啊，
anything.
我要得到钱呐、
Because nobody will ever gain anything anyway, so just go ahead, think all you
你
want.
想吧，
I want to win a lottery, I want to get
你去想啊。
win the power lottery. Just go ahead.
我红包没有收起来。
There's a red pocket here that I haven't put
一
inside.
下
This is important.
香袋拿起来，红包掉了，那不得了。
And when I get my bag and the red pockets fall out,
没
that
有人
wouldn't
能
be
够得到
good. So let me tell
就
you,
算你中了乐透，中
no
了
one can get anything,
没有人
even
也能够永远得到你的威力。
even when you win lotteries, that nobody will ever
你再多买几千，你
would ever have it.
多买几千，
So if you have money, you can buy more houses or properties, and you can make money, and you can rent it out. Like I often think for the Seattle temple, they have several dorms. But nowadays, how many? Just one person per house. So just one person per dorm. Is there any dorms without anyone living in it, without any residents? Master Bijan should know better. There's someone. All the houses are occupied. 除了莲望上师那一间以外，都至少2个人以上。其他西边那边还蛮多人。By Master Lian Wang is only by himself. But some are only 2 or more. 他们那边就会满满的。OK， 好，谢谢。But for ceremonies, it would be full. But I think like Master Lian Wang, who has the whole dorm to himself, you can rent it out. Like a guest house, you know, or homestay, or you can just collect the people to live in a few of the dorms, and then the rest could be rent out, you know, for homestay or guest house. And then we have people who especially maintain it. So people that are good at business would make money, for sure. You just invite someone who especially repair and maintain, and the other one is to manage the reservation or the payment, accounting, etc. Because you have all those houses, right? You cannot just let one person live in one house. What a waste. Don't you know how lucky you are? Yeah, well, just don't look at the yards. You'll be fine. But let me tell you, doesn't matter how much money you earn, whether you're very smart and quick with it, at the end, there is nothing to gain. Doesn't matter how big your house is, a luxurious mansion, at the end, it's also unattainable. Like the car that Grandmaster drives is also top. It's offered by Dharma's sister Hanifa, and she offered 2 cars. One is the Rolls Royce, and the other one is first rate. The other one is Maserati. It's spoken in Italian with a rolling R. It's it's a sports car or semi-sports car, which is what Grandmaster drives. They are also expensive. But can you always own these cars? No. It's unattainable. Eventually, one day, you would have to abandon your cars, your houses. So you cannot gain, or you cannot gain any cars and houses. So you can't. How can you get money? No. So the Buddha knows the minds of human beings. Tumultuous. And it's like the cesspool of the ancient time. At those times, we just have to crouch. We cannot sit on a toilet that can be flushed by the water, which is good because that means even the poop is not yours. They were inside your guts, but as soon as you sit and flushed, it's gone. And you think in the old style cesspool that it's there, but you have to, like a septic tank, I guess, that has to be emptied. And on top of it, there are lots of grubs. And like turning all over, and then when you think came down, they would be turbulent all over. So, but humans' thoughts are the same as those grubs inside the cesspool. That they are churning all over. So nobody can ever gain their wealth. Simply said, some people like to live a long life. Like just now, they supplicate the Buddha to stay an infinite time. But strictly speaking, to extend the lifespan, it's perhaps just a few years. There's nothing to applaud. At the end, it's all death. All the same. When I visited Master Thubten Dorji, he often used this one finger and say ding ding, ding ding, meaning dead. Then you're gone. His attendant, Qigong, Thubten Qigong, also died and gone. Master Thubten Dorji also gone. And Master Thubten Dorji was giving a part of his inheritance to Thubten Qigong, and she also didn't get anything, and she too had gone. So human beings at the end would die too. All that's left is death. Money, cars, houses, your wives, your children, your grandchildren, they're all not yours. So that this is called the mind of the past is unattainable, the mind of the present is unattainable, and the mind of the future is unattainable. the mind of unattainability. The Tathagata knows that all the thoughts of the sentient beings at the end is unattainable. So nothing to gain encompasses all the minds of sentient beings. So you need to remember this when you chant the Vajra Sutra. Like I said yesterday, the past has passed, and the present will become the past, and the future is not here yet. So let me ask you, what have you gained? Let me ask you one more. In the future, what are you able to gain in the future? What is it that you're able to gain? What is it that you're able to gain in the future? And some people think I'm beautiful. And usually when they're beautiful, they're arrogant and proud. So they become arrogant. But it's not forever. Nothing is forever. Then the joke says that in sophomore and college, how much did you weigh? Go meet him. So he would stop thinking about you after seeing you. So beautiful looks are also not forever, for sure. It's gone in a flash. Youth also disappear very fast. You want to hold on to the tail of youth. Not sunset. Sunset or dusk is the most beautiful, but it's very short-lived. It's very hard to hold on to it. So at the end, it is still unattainable. At the cafeteria at the Sutra temple, we were watching that someone was a singer, from youth to old age to a skeleton. So looks are also unattainable. That symbolizes that there's nothing to gain. If you want to hold on to the tail of youth, it's not only the Tathagata, even I would know. Why? Because it's impossible to hold on to it. I know it. I often show a photograph of myself in my 20s. Did it look like a movie star? Yes. Who has that photo with you right now? Anyone? On the internet. Well, I never get on the internet, so I don't know if it's on the internet. Do I look like that photo?
那时候20几岁。
I was in my 20s then.
我的女朋友啊，那个刘江霞。
And my girlfriend, Liu Jiangxia, would sit in my living room every night and not wanting to leave. And my parents said, we're about to sleep and your girlfriend's still here. What should we do? So I said, let me send her home. Liu Jiangxia. Every day she would sit in my living room until late at night. So that's this photo.
他找到4张啊。
4 of them.
那个。那是军人。
That's a military man.
军校的时候。
I was wearing
军校的时候的照片。
the military uniform.
不是那一张啊。
That's during the college time.
这一张怎么盖起来？是这一张。对，是这一张。不是给我看啊，那是我。
You don't need to show it to me. That's me.
对啊，青春留不住，不可得。
So that we cannot retain youth. So it's unattainable. Even your body is not yours.
这个人都会老。
So human beings will become old, and sometimes the impermanence is very swift. Today, one is okay and very fast it's gone.
所以，这个美色也是留不住的。
So therefore, beauties and looks also cannot be retained.
唯一的界限，唯一的那一张是吗？
No, that one, right?
啊？人家讲说有点像电影明星呢。
People say I look like a movie star.
你看，跟我现在像不像？
Does it look like me now? Do I still look like that?
卖骗我！不要骗我
！Don't lie to me.
就是我如果像这样子哦，走出去不知道有多少人吹口哨。
If I look like that now, how many people will whistle at me?
我这一生唯一的遗憾。
All my life, the only regret is that I'm a little too short.
就是我长得太不能人家讲高高帅帅。
Just a little too short.
年轻的时候也
tall and handsome.
讲高高帅帅。
When I was young, I was handsome, but I cannot say I'm tall.
本来就不可得嘛。
So it's nothing to gain, right? How can you be so perfect? A human being cannot be too perfect. So where's the Reverend Lily? Reverend Lily's father and mother, we know. We know them. And her father said that of the 3 daughters, the second daughter, which is left from Lily, is the most beautiful. Please stand up and show everybody. Let's see if are you beautiful now? Okay, please be seated. At that time, the Reverend Lily was a VP at the Rainier Bank.
Rainier Bank 这是 Seattle Forest 的前身，就是 Rainier Bank。
So Rainier Bank, which is before the earlier name of the Seafirst Bank.
那时候有3个新移民来，3个男生。
And there were 3 new immigrants then, because she was Chinese, and so any other Chinese would deal with her for deposits and all banking issues. And there were 3 men who always mow the lawn in her yard. She didn't have to mow the lawn. There are 3 men who would mow the lawn for free for her. One, I think, is in the construction. One is selling fruit. And who's the other one? I just forgotten, but I still remember. The one in construction now is very wealthy, and the other one is like a fruit importer. And we forgot the other one. They often mow the lawn for her. She was very powerful and prestigious then. So therefore, wealth cannot be attained, looks cannot be attained, power and status cannot be attained. Is there anyone who can be a president forever? Never. It's always one after another. The same with the dynasties. They take turn. Nothing is forever. Like Qin Shi Huang wanted to become an eternal emperor, and also Han Wudi. So they took immortality elixir. They wanted this infinite life. So they sent the Taoist masters called Shifu, who took 3,000 boys and girls to go overseas to search for immortality elixir, and they never came back. And they became the ancestors of the Japanese. And the same with Han Wudi. He took the immortality elixir and wanted to live infinitely, but at the end he still died. Many of them wanted to become an eternal emperor, but it never happened. They all passed away. So ponder carefully. Nothing to gain. Always keep it in mind that you will have no afflictions whatsoever. It can break or stop all habitual tendencies. It can stop all afflictions. It can stop all of your attachments. What are you being so attached to? It's nothing to gain. What are you be afflicted about? What are you afflicted about? It's unattainable. No need to get angry. Even after you get angry, it's still nothing to gain. Stop it. What are you afflicted about? What are you worried about? Everyone is the same. Eventually, we would all live in the columbarium, the twin lotus columbarium. Why are you clapping? It's good. It's good that you're going to be imprisoned in that little box. So what have you gained? Nothing. Wealth, beauties, name, sleep, and food. Nobody ever gained anything. So of course the Tathagata knows the minds of all people, because the minds of all people, all the thoughts are not thoughts, because what you think of is unattainable. So that's why they are not thoughts, they are not the mind. Because they are not thoughts, they are named the mind. So we have to explain this phrase. The Tathagata knows what you're thinking about, because everything is unattainable. Nobody would ever gain anything. Nobody will ever gain anything. Of course, the Buddha knows it is unattainable. Only those deluded people in this material world that does not know about the unattainable. That's why they cannot stop their afflictions, they cannot stop their attachments, they cannot stop their habitual tendencies. If you know, then you can let go of everything. Only then you would be able to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. So that's the meaning or the intent of the Vajra Sutra, is to break or to stop everything, to destroy everything. Yes. So, as I said, the Vajra Sutra is indestructible, but it can destroy everything. Right? Isn't everything be destroyed because it is unattainable? Nobody will ever gain anything. And Grandmaster thought, someone brought me a Rolls Royce. Oh, good. Maserati, good. But these two cars, too, are not yours. It's only temporarily for you to use. It's also nothing to gain. Now, do you understand? So don't think whether you're long or short, actually they are all the same. In this world, the Buddha knows so many sentient beings, so 7 billion beings. In the eyes of the Buddha, everything is unattainable, and it's just like the grubs of the ancient cesspool, tossing and turning. Sometimes your on top, sometimes you're at the bottom, up and down and up and down, and at the end, they're all gone.
这个有一个闺蜜，气色看起来不是很好。
Best friend
看你的脸
doesn't look so
是身体
good.
不舒服吗？
So I asked
她说没有。
So
老公住院，
you don't feel well?
夜看
You don't look well. Are you sick?
难道你
No,
没有
it's my husband who's sick, so I've been watching him day and night. So don't you hire
给你看护，
a nurse to take care of him?
看守他？
Oh, because the nurse that I hired is too beautiful. That's why I have to watch. I have to watch them at all times. So that's the affliction and worries of a human
给
being.
我邀请去参加他的婚礼，我淡定的回了
My
3个字
ex-boyfriend
下一次再
invited
见。
me, sent me an invitation for his wedding, and then I replied, next time. 这个笑话，看一下有没有好一点。 Let me see if I can find a better joke.
哦，这也是英文。
This is also about English.
上班，医院的电梯挤满了护士，一位站在
Oh, this is only meaningful.
年轻护士不小心放了一个响屁，都没有人要承认这是谁放的屁。这时候放屁的
The elevator is filled with nurses and one doctor.
好，你可以
And there's a nurse who farted, but nobody wanted to
3个
show anything.
怎么讲？
So this nurse asked the doctor to say
护士面前说，
English words.
骄傲的大声的讲，
And the doctor wanted to show off.
放的。
Peace were found, but in Chinese it sounds like I am the one who farted.
最后医生就被赶出去。
And then they kicked the doctor out of the elevator.
和平啊，和平战争跟发现是 peace war found， 是吗？我们那边。
Naman ito na, huh?
非常感